Welcome to an overview video of homeostasis and nephron function. Here, we will review key concepts and understand the role of kidney in maintaining internal stability. First, let's talk about homeostasis. What is it and how does it work? What is homeostasis? Homeostasis is our body's ability to maintain stable internal conditions despite external environmental changes. Homeostasis is critical for cellular functions, as proper regulation ensures cells operate optimally and remain healthy. Our body system requires constant regulation, such as that for body temperature, blood glucose, and water balance. When we increase physical activity, for example, these factors are constantly changing and regulated in our bodies. Additionally, homeostasis helps organisms adapt and survive successfully when faced with environmental variations. When we step outside in the winter or in a heat wave in the summer, homeostasis allows our body to maintain a steady state. Why is homeostasis important? Let's recall the role that temperature plays in enzyme structure and function, which directly impacts enzyme stability. Homeostasis maintains temperature and pH for enzymes to catalyze reactions effectively. Homeostasis also allows organisms to adapt to temperature and nutrient fluctuations in their surroundings. Furthermore, by stabilizing internal conditions, homeostasis prevents cellular damage and promotes survival. Lastly, homeostasis plays an important role in energy supply regulation. Maintaining blood glucose levels ensures cells get a consistent energy supply for metabolism. The homeostatic system in our bodies is composed of sensors that are constantly providing feedback. Sensors detect changes in internal conditions like temperature and pH levels to monitor the body. The control center processes sensor data and initiates appropriate responses to maintain balance. Effectors like muscles or glands respond by correcting deviations to restore equilibrium. Feedback mechanisms in homeostasis provides a message to the body to respond effectively. There are two types, negative and positive feedback loops. In a negative feedback loop, changes are reversed to restore balance. An example of this is when insulin is released in order to lower blood sugar. In a positive feedback loop, changes are amplified, such as increasing contractions during childbirth. Most homeostasis relies on the negative feedback for stability and internal condition regulation. Now that we understand the main concepts driving homeostasis, let's look more specifically at how the excretory system and kidney function ties into the body's ability to maintain a steady state. The excretory system's primary function is to remove waste and maintain water and salt balance in the body. Key organs of the excretory system includes the kidneys, ureters, bladder, and urethra working together to process and expel urine. The kidney's role is to filter blood to remove waste and excess substances, which as a result produces urine. This in turn regulates the body's fluid composition and prevents harmful substance buildup to maintain homeostasis. Let's look more closely at the kidneys and their role in homeostasis. The kidneys filter blood to remove waste, excess salts, and water, regulating internal environment. Kidneys play an important role in controlling blood pressure by adjusting blood volume and electrolyte concentration. Furthermore, kidneys produce hormones affecting red blood cell production and calcium metabolism. Lastly, by forming urine, the kidneys ensure efficient waste excretion and maintain body balance. Let's take a microscopic view of the kidneys by looking at the nephron. Each kidney contains about 1 million nephrons that filter blood and produce urine. Key parts of the nephron include the Bowman's capsule, glomerulus, proximal tubule, loop of Henle, distal tubule, and collecting duct. In terms of the filtration process, blood enters glomerulus for filtration. Nephron reabsorbs essentials and secretes waste to form urine. Nephrons maintain body balance by regulating fluid and waste through urine formation. To better understand the process, let's first look at the nephron's initial filtration site. Filtration starts at the glomerulus and Bowman's capsule in the nephron. Blood pressure forces water and small solutes into the nephron while retaining larger molecules. Small solutes like glucose and ions pass through. Proteins and blood cells remain in blood. This efficient filtration process preserves the body's internal environment by removing waste and excess substances, thereby effectively maintaining an internal balance. The nephron also reabsorbs substances. This reabsorption property reclaims useful substances from filtrate back to the bloodstream efficiently. This occurs mainly in proximal tubule, loop of Henle, and distal tubule segments of nephron. At these sites, glucose, amino acids, and water are reabsorbed to maintain nutrient and fluid balance. The body regulates reabsorption in efforts to retain essential compounds in urine that would otherwise be lost. Secretion within the nephron involves an active transport mechanism. Secretion actively moves waste products and ions from blood to nephron, mainly in the distal tubule. Secretion helps maintain body's acid-base balance by removing excess ions. It also eliminates toxins not filtered initially, enhancing waste removal efficiency. This secretion process fine-tunes the filtrate, which ensures that the final urine composition contains only waste materials. Lastly, urine that is filtered and excreted by the nephron flows from the kidneys out of the body. Let's look at that path and the details involved. First, as mentioned previously, a filtration process removes waste and fluids from the blood inside the nephron's glomerulus. Next, useful substances are reabsorbed while additional wastes are secreted into the tubules. Urine then collects in the collecting ducts, flows through the ureters, and is stored in the bladder. Finally, urine exits the body through the urethra as part of waste elimination. Wow, the nephron is important. To summarize, let's review the nephron's key functions in maintaining homeostasis. First, the nephron regulates water, salt, and waste to stabilize the body's internal environment. Filtration by the nephron removes waste while reabsorption recovers valuable substances back into the bloodstream. Secretion adds substances into the filtrate, completing urine formation for waste removal. And lastly, the stable internal conditions from nephron activity support overall health and cell function.